We all remember math class. But what if we started thinking about those old textbooks a little differently? What if they weren't just a list of problems, but a map, a guide to this hidden world of just really elegant patterns and surprising connections, all just waiting for us to find them? So today, let's do that. Let's become travelers in the world of numbers.
So let's start right there with that big question. What if that dusty book on your shelf was never about homework, but was actually a secret travel guide? I mean, what kind of journeys could it take us on? Well, let's find out. Every good trip needs to start with a little something to get the mind warmed up, right? Think of this as the first puzzle we've got to solve before we pack our bags and head out. All right, here it is. We've got two groups of numbers. Group A on the left adds up to 25, and Group B on the right adds up to 75. Now, the challenge sounds simple, but it's pretty clever. Can you swap just one number from each group to make their totals exactly the same? Go on, give it a thought.
So, did you figure it out? Okay, let's walk through it. Group B's sum is 75. Group A's is 25. That's a difference of 50. To make them equal, we'd need to shift things around so that each group's total becomes 50. That means the number we move from Group B has to be 25 bigger than the number we move from Group A. But if you look closely at the numbers, well, no pair has a difference of 25. And that, right there, is our first big travel tip. Sometimes the trick is seeing that the puzzle itself has a hidden rule. It's not about the swap, it's about spotting the pattern that makes the swap impossible. A pretty cool insight, right? All right, with our minds all warmed up, let's hit the open road. Because, basic arithmetic isn't just for little brain teasers. It's the only tool we have to really understand the massive grand scales of our world. And this chart just shows it perfectly. A motorbike might hold, 15 liters of fuel? A car, maybe 50? But a lorry? A whopping 500 liters. That's literally 10 times what a car can hold. All of a sudden, a simple bar chart gives you this powerful visual sense of scale. You can just feel the different kinds of journeys these vehicles are built for. And speaking of journeys, look at this number, 15,150 kilometers. Just let that sink in. That is the longest continuous road you can drive on in the entire world, stretching from Tallinn, Russia, all the way to Sagres, Portugal. Numbers like this, they're the only way our brains can even start to wrap around a distance that immense.
Now, let's bring that idea a little closer to home. India's north-south corridor is just this massive piece of infrastructure. And how do we figure out its total length? Simple addition. You take two huge segments, one at 1,855 kilometers and the other at 1,862. You add them up, and you get your answer, 3,717 kilometers. It's literally elementary school math, and it's powering projects that span a continent.
Any savvy traveler knows that the most direct route, it isn't always the fastest. You've got to know the clever shortcuts. And in the world of numbers, these shortcuts are the hidden patterns that make everything so much easier.
First, let's get the lay of the land. Consecutive numbers, they're just what they sound like. Numbers in a row, no gaps. 1, 2, 3, 29, 30, 31. They're the simplest, most straightforward path you can take. Okay, so let's see what happens when we start adding 3 of these guys together. For instance, 1 plus 2 plus 3, that gets us 6. Now let's try the next set. 2 plus 3 plus 4, that's 9. And one more time. 3 plus 4 plus 5 gives us 12. Are you starting to see something here?
Did you catch it? The sum is always 3 times the middle number. Look back. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. It works every single time. And once you see that shortcut, that little secret path, you'll never have to add them the long way ever again.
Here is another fantastic travel hack for your journey with numbers. Need to subtract 99 from something? Don't even bother. Our brains love round numbers, so just subtract 100 first, that's way easier, and then just add 1 back on at the end. Boom! It's a faster, cleaner path to the exact same destination.
So, we've navigated the roads, we've learned a few shortcuts. Now, let's head for the summit. This is where we get to see those breathtaking, fundamental patterns that really govern the entire landscape of numbers.
And from way up here, you can really appreciate the beautiful symmetry of palindrome numbers. They are just perfectly balanced, reading the exact same forwards and backwards. They're kind of like these beautiful natural monuments in the world of math. And speaking of summits, this is the real deal.
Here we see some of the incredible Himalayan peaks, all over 8,000 meters, climbed by Priyanka Mohite. These aren't just abstract figures, they are the real-world heights of human achievement.
So, how can we use math to really understand these incredible heights? Well, by comparing them. Let's take the highest and lowest peaks from her list here. Mount Everest at 8,848 meters and Mount Annapurna I at 8,091 meters. A quick simple subtraction tells us the difference is 757 meters. That one number gives us a real perspective on the amazing scale of what she accomplished.
And from this high vantage point, we can see the absolute bedrock rules of addition. These properties are so simple, so elegant, and they are always true. An even plus an even will always give you an even. An odd plus an odd, also always even. But mix them together, an even and an odd, and you'll always get an odd. These are the unwavering, fundamental laws of our numerical universe.
So, we've gone from a simple puzzle all the way to the highest peaks on Earth just by following the map laid out in simple mathematics. But you know, like any really good trip, the end of one journey is just the beginning of the next one.
They're just everywhere. The distance we travel, the time it takes, the mountains we climb. Our world is literally written in the language of numbers.
And this is the great secret. Numbers aren't just random or chaotic. No, they are filled with these elegant shortcuts, these beautiful symmetries and dependable rules, all just waiting for us to notice them. And that skill, pattern recognition, is how we understand just about everything.
And that really brings us to the most important point of all. Math isn't just about getting the right answer. It's about the adventure. It's about the discovery. The real journey is learning to see these hidden patterns for yourself.
The world is your textbook now, and the map is in your hands. So the only question left to ask is, where will your curiosity travel next?